Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology or S2T. Hopefully you guys are getting my audio and video without any issue. I'm waiting to hear for confirmation from incognito window. Let's see what is the latency here. Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology or S2T. Yes, everything seems to be working, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk about a very big thing. Her has become real. So as you can see, I have ChatGPT 4 Omni. Now here's the deal. Is it a big deal? Short answer, not for you and me. Like in terms of capability, it has not changed. Whoa. But in terms of energy consumption, it has went whoa. So what does that mean? Oh, I do apologize. I think I have left my ceiling fan on. So sound may be a bit off. Just a moment. I apologize for that. So, hi, you are visible and audible. Thank you so much, Mitraji, a friend of birds. Thank you. Now, so what is the biggest change here? The fact that ChatGPT 4.0 is Omni model. Omni model, what does that mean? It simply means in ChatGPT 4, if you actually gave it an image, let's say I'm working with a microcontroller and I give it an image, it has a separate entity, a separate neural network that is gonna decode the image, figure out what it is, then it's gonna create a prompt. Then that prompt is gonna have a communication with the main neural network, and then same thing will happen on the other side also, meaning if ChatGPT has to make an image, it interacts with another basically rendering engine, a different generative AI, and then it creates it. Like if I'm not mistaken, it has dialogue 3. Hold on, I'll just use it here. GPT-3. So basically there were entities, but our brain does not work like that. So your ear does not have a sub brain of itself. Like it has a processing unit where it's like, okay, this audio is too loud, this audio is, but not the essence of it. So the essence always goes into your brain. Same with eyes, same with ears, same with your touch. That's why like blind people can reconfigure it, because it's not an independent compute module. The brain is a master module, and it just processes data from all the inputs and then actually gives the final output. So doing that in an AI model, it's a very big step. Not for you and me, simply because it does not mean the magically it can do 10 times more, but it means two big changes. First, latency goes down, meaning the speed improves drastically. That is apparent. I've been using it, so it is drastic. On top of that, the energy consumption per prompt goes down significantly, and this is a big jump. Recently Microsoft had a event where they were talking about all this basically Azure cloud kind of stuff, and the short answer is I can now actually see where you can, let's assume, because again master AI would be very high horsepower, let's say 10,000 horsepower. What you gonna get as an agent, what you are interacting to, it would be 100 horsepower. But here's the deal. Right now that 100 horsepower still has to be on the cloud. It cannot be in your computer. But the way they have optimized from ChatGPT 4 to ChatGPT 4.0 shows a pathway that in future we can actually expect in next 2 to 3 years, SoC in your basically smartphone should be able to do, like let's say 30 to 40 horsepower work of the neural network. So it could actually become a useful tool where it's like, okay, I got this, like a mild work it can do on its own. And if learning is efficient enough, basically it tries to learn from your language. So how does you talk to it? There is a good probability, even in a bad network scenario where it does not come, if you are asking for a little thing like, hey, can you take down a note, I need to buy, remember to buy dental floss, it can just do it on its own. It does not even need to talk to the server, so it will not prompt you an error, it's like not connected to the internet. So that is a viable future now. It's no longer maybe, else if, or exponential gains. No, it's visible now, like you can see it. uh James, 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 is it James or James? Hello to you. So that's the biggest difference for Omni. So the fact that it's all integrated into one, the fact that it can handle input and output in multi-domain, meaning not only images but audio also, that is significant. Because right now, if I turn on, let's say ChatGPT 4 and press the symbol, so it's showing connecting. Hello, ChatGPT 4.0. Can you talk about like, am I talking to the ChatGPT 4.0 agent, or am I talking to still a basically, voice to text and then text to GPT kind of deal? Let's see, what does it say?
You're chatting with the ChatGPT 4.0 model through a text-based interface, not directly using voice. So your voice input is converted to text. which I then process and respond to in text. Is there anything specific you're curious about or need help with?
Yeah, when ChatGPT 4 Omni voice agent will become available for paying customer.
OpenAI's new GPT-4o, also known as the Omni model, has integrated voice capabilities alongside text and video interactions into a single model. This allows for much smoother and faster responses compared to previous versions. The model is designed to enable real-time conversations, similar to digital assistants like Siri or Alexa, but with the ability to handle more complex prompts. Currently, the voice features of GPT-4o are available to both free and paying users through the ChatGPT app. While specific release dates for enhanced features for paying customers haven't been detailed, paying subscribers are promised higher capacity limits and access to advanced functionalities. If you want to explore these features, you can try them out in the ChatGPT mobile app by heading to settings and enabling voice conversations.
Okay, so you can see, like it's very actually getting good at this point in time. Okay, Deepak, sir, now major parts of Himachal are also boiling hot. Yeah, basically summers are getting brutal here. What does that mean? That simply means we really, as a India, as a nation, we really need to act on our basically current scenario and really get sky cooling paint mass produced ASAP. It's no longer a matter of like, it's like we have time. No, we do not have time. I cannot live in a scenario where if power goes away, like even a air conditioned room that has AC has been working for let's say 3 to 4 hour, power cuts, my wall starts to heat up again. It has so much thermal energy. So of course, once I sort some financial issue, I will cover the roof with a shade to at least cool some part of it. I can't do complete roof cover because again it's too expensive. I'm poor, but like cover enough of it that at least that part again I will use white shades, what you call white sheets, stainless sheets that are coated with aluminum system. So white is available. I have already done a small version of it, so I know the contractor that has to be do this part. That should reduce enough of a basically heat load on my roof that roof should not go too much boiling. And because again, if you have even 50% of roof is covered, the heat that is falling on the part that is exposed will spread out, so it should allow my room to actually be a bit cooler. So it is something that is necessary now, and we really need sky cool panel. Why? Because it's not just white paint where it's reflecting it, it's also dumping heat from your surrounding air to space. And there are some designs where like if it works as intended, I do not know what the intensity of it, but it can keep constantly dropping the temperature, meaning all you have is a heat pipe that is connecting you from the surface to the vacuum of the space directly. Now, of course, it will not work in a foggy environment. Basically, if you have too much water molecules, either by rain or either by moisture, it will block that infrared pipe. That should not be there. If it can see the sky, it can dump the heat. If it has water, clouds, and all that, it will not work. Now, what's the core benefit of this rather than insulation? Insulation just slows it down. Basically, it's like slowing it down. This puppy reflects 100% of it, and on top of that, while it's going away, it's like, what about you take some energy from it goes sub-ambient, meaning if the panel, that is white panel, that could be 45 degrees Celsius in sunlight, this panel would be less than ambient. So if ambient is also, let's say, 45 degrees Celsius air, the temperature around the panel will drop down to, let's say, 40. It will be -5 ambient, no electricity required. That's why it's so critical for India to get it done. It is like really, really important. Um, we really need to sort it out. Okay. Can this update in AI do shopping and pay bills automatically with my bank account? Right now, I do not think it can do it. It's just that it's not allowed to do so. It's a very basically restrictive scenario where they are not allowing it right now. So they will not do that. I do expect that to happen like in at least 2 3 years from now. Again, because there is a serious risk that you can overspend or like have some oops that is like very big and expensive oops. That's why company is not taking liability for that. So it will take some time. Be patient with. If you have that sort of requirement, I would say, and be mindful. Alexa does that, right? Alexa does that. If you have a like just a continuous payment with your credit card in your Amazon account, Alexa does that, what you are looking for. How AI can improve games? Well, that question depends on the implementer. Like for example, if let's say somebody is building a game, they can use AI for testing stage, where they can create AI agents whose sole job is test every single interaction in the game, and that game could be much better, less buggy. Now again, can you remove 100% of the bugs? Hell no. Can you root out majority of the issues surprisingly quickly? Absolutely. So that is a very significant advantage. That's just in the testing. Other things could be like you can reduce the amount of man hour needed in order to make the graphics. For example, back in the old days when I used to be game artist, so we started with the idea of like taking photos and putting in Photoshop, then making a texture out of it. That's how we started. No, and again, my studio was not using it primarily, but there was a time where I was like, it's so frustrated. I was like basically there was a building. It had a brick layout. Now it's common, but here's the brick layouts are generally 50%. There was a brick layout that was 20% offset. So it was very thin, very long bricks, and I could not find texture of it. So basically, like you have CG textures used to be there. I do not know whether it's still there or not. So I went into this application. You may have heard of it, and I've already made a video about it. Is a Substance Designer. So what it is a noise generator and pattern generator, just running on math. Nothing. It just makes amazing texture out of it, just out of math. Basically, patterns and noise, voila. And I made basically texture, and that texture is just sent to the game. Even my art lid could not detect it. That is not a real image. So nowadays imagine that system. That's a tool that you can just buy. Like you can just like, hey, rent the tool from Adobe. So it's a normal tool. It's available, used in many games now. I can have a talk with AI. It's like, hey AI, use this tool, give me a texture for, let's say, a wall, give me a texture for a grass and all that. Like a lot of things goes into making the visual environment of the game, and it takes a lot of man hour. Like in terms of programmers, there would be 40 programmers. In terms of artists, there could be 150 artists in a game. So that is very expensive. So you can have an AI that is quickly iterating, quickly getting things done. So that would reduce a lot of cost. That's AI just using as a tool to make games better. Now AI in itself going inside the game, again, AI games already have AI, rudimentary, but they have AI. I could see them getting very high end AI, but problem is the moment you want to have a like large language model, that requires a supercomputer. And given the fact that Google is stupid, genuinely stupid, they because they have closed off this Stadia, they can no longer harness it. They were like so close, so close. Little bit of patience, they could have been like printing money, that they're like, oops. So that is one of the things. How much can you? How much you are paying for GPT per month? Around my brother is paying for 2,000 or something like that. Is there? How much efficient white paint on rooftop to control temperature? White paint again better than nothing. Let's just put it that way. Like you are talking about three to different people depending on your condition. Because again, if you are living in a place where it has hot air, it does not matter much. Where you have living in a place where you have very high flux, solar flux, then it makes a very big difference. So people are reporting minimum 5 degrees Celsius lower temperature, maximum of 15 degrees Celsius. But I do not expect 15 degrees Celsius drop happening everywhere. It has to be very unique circumstances, but it can happen. It has happened. So it's a really good situation to do. Again, best would be having a shade, because again, that gives a air curtain, that is the best insulator, and then you have a reflective layer on top of it. Like in my case, it would be white shade. That's super awesome. That's the best. Second best would like super best would be that same shade is now made out of sky cool panels. The moment I have sky cool panel, the problem is solved. But again, that's like India really needs to get working on it like now. So okay, how much efficient white paint is like? Do you think virtual AI girlfriend like Joey from Blade Runner 2049 could be possible in VR headsets? These advancements in AI near future? Absolutely. This is a very good development for men, basically, because again, at current rate, men are being slaughtered at a basically non-sustainable rate, and we are like there are two threats with men. First is like, what if men started to offing themselves, where it's like, okay, I'm out, I'm unsubscribing from life. If too many of them did that, again, world would not care, but too many ex-wife will care, because again, no alimony, that will cause significant cascade failure. On top of that, it's like men are like one of those scenario where it's like, as long they are good, they're good. But when they go bad, uh, it goes bad. Like it goes so bad that all the women in basically Afghanistan are living a very happy life. It goes that bad. So That's a very serious scenario that where we are heading to. Like the way society is going, that's where it's like bam. So this AI girlfriend is a really good tool. Now, some people say it's not real, right? Like this is the most common counterpoint I have seen, and it makes me so sad. It's like all of these people have never been to court, because yes, once you go into the court, once you see how men are being ripped apart alive with judges, with women, and with all these so-called people who love them, once you see that, you're like, dude, you were never real. So from non-real to a thing that is not real from the first place, but that's not pretending to be real. It's like, what's the difference? Like there was a saying, very cruel saying, is like, the only difference between prostitute and a woman is one of them is honest. I was like, ooh. So it's one of those scenario where it's like, yeah, what men are having, like right now, an Indian cricketer just got and like he has to give up 80% of his properties. I'm like, did you expected marriage to end differently? Like, why do you think women marry? Remove money, nobody will be there. Like, if there is a law passed tomorrow that you no longer have access to the money that he has, property specifically, basically, as long as you're a wife, you have full access to him. The moment you go bye bye, no longer the money. Basically, that's how the world has to work. You cannot do the what we are doing right now, because again, it's a slow poison if you do this. So I'm like, what were you expecting? So in those sort of real world scenario, that versus AI girlfriend, there is no context. Like one will hurt you so badly. Like go to a court. I dare you. Go to a court. Go to a family court. I dare you. Your soul will literally turbocharge your ego to protect it. Oh, it will not happen to me. It will not happen. Even though every day you will have at least 5 or 6 cases per day. Like it's almost reaching like one of my friend in Australia. There was like, yeah, he lives in Australia because again they have a open documentation for it. Yeah, there's like marriage is like 10,000 marriage a year and divorce 50,000. It's like, oh, but 50%. Really, your life is so worthless that you will risk 50% of it? It's like, yeah, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm gonna have a horrible, miserable experience with 50% chances out of it. And be mindful, the reason why that number is lower because divorce happens few years later. So that's why number is always gonna appear low, but it's almost 120% divorce rate because again, many people are getting divorced second time or third time. So in that reality, that's real, that's happening, and you maybe you know about people about this. It's like in those scenarios, if you're gonna tell like, oh, the AI girlfriend is not real, it's like, no, girlfriend is real. Remove money, you won't have a girlfriend. So it's like, yeah, it's a very simple thing. It's like, yeah, I'm paying for it. It's just soothing me. So it's a very real scenario, and there is a lot of money to be had in this scenario. So a lot of company will work their ass off to make it real. AI plus 3D printing plus neural chip, next gen human. Yeah, neural chip is you are getting too excited. Neural chip is nothing good, and this is I have talked about it in my Future Friday videos very detailedly. Is that Elon Musk is great at creating hype for people who do not know. Like if you do not know that what neural link is, that thing, it's a normal thing that exists in the market. What he's doing is basically, I'm going to create this new thing and I'm going to create it better than anyone else. But here's the, he starts it, reaches where every other company is just a bit before that, and he does it very quickly. So let's say a company that has been working from 90s, again, it has been working from 90s, but all the research and all the papers now it's open. So Elon Musk uses that data point and jumps very quickly. So it's like, I opened the system company and now we have a product. So people are like, whoa, so fast, so speed. But here's it only reaches every time where every other company is. But again, it happens so quickly, so it gives that orgasm. It's like, whoa, how could it was so fast? But then you wait and it's like, oh, why the heck you have so many issues? Why the heck people's literally links are pulling out of? It's like, oh, that's what it took other companies 30 years to figure out. So that's one of those things where it's like, oh, it jumps very quickly. For example, let's say compared to the, we're gonna make a bot, right? Tesla bot is gonna be most awesome bot, is gonna be like, and they jumped it. I'm hasty. People who do not know about robotics, they were like, whoa. People who know about it, it's like, bro, what you are showing is shown in year 2000 by Honda Asimo. That's how old that is. And people who know about Boston Dynamics, here's the deal. Look at the total presentation that Elon Musk did, and he was orgasming about the motors, like we have the best motor engineer, this motor is best, and then compare what right now, as of 2505 2024, as of now, what Boston Dynamic has with electromechanical actually. They had hydraulics, which was already better than what Tesla has in terms of motors, and now they have released a new variant. Compare that. So it's very orgasmic for people who do not know, but people for who know, it's like, dude, you will create a hype, you will jump exactly close to where every other company is, but you will not surpass it. And the moment people are like, hey, what happened to that? You'll create a new hype. Like you're like, people are getting bored. It's like Tesla rose. People are getting bored, Tesla truck. People are getting bored, self-driving Tesla. People are getting bored, what is that, a tunnel, boring tunnel, the boring company. People are getting bored, so it's like it never delivers. There is no delivery of any of his promises. And Cybertruck was like bad. So that's one of those things. uh, so how does your diplomacy skill play a role in your career growth in a company as well as your skill? This sort of questions have no what you call, depends on the logical world that you're dealing with. Basically, if company is here's the deal, you have to deal with people, right? At the end of the day, you have to deal with people. So if you are good with people, you're gonna have easier time. If you're not good with people, you're gonna have a hard time. As simple as that. How much it plays, that's like a very different thing. How to overcome boredom? Do something productive that has a feedback loop. Meaning, I've been like, again, through like a very deep boredom. Again, I was bored out of my mind trying to do my work. And again, I was not bored because the work is boring. I was bored because I was not getting any feedback from it. I've been doing, like, daily uploads for like 1.5 years, and I was not getting money. I was not getting attention. I was not getting anything out of it. Of course, my brain was like, bro. And boredom is not a like, bad thing. It's a feedback loop. It helps you to calibrate yourself. So then I was like, okay, let me just, like, pull myself back off. Let me try some new stuff. Let me just like unclog this. Like, this is clogged. Let me unclog it. And I recently achieved this level where now I can control MOSFET. Now, let this be very clear. I know anyone who knows anything about electronics, this is like, a sleeping project for them. Again, it's a mind-boggling for me. This is the first time I had an idea. I bought MOSFETs for it and I built it and it works. This is first time for me. And again, I do not know programming. I do not know electronics. I'm literally using AI to build this. So I'm very happy with this. So boredom generally gives you that basically boredom is your brain telling you it's like what you are doing is not working, so you have to fine tune it. Boredom, you do not fight with boredom, you use it as a guiding tool. Will space solve our most problems, and it will bring new problems, food, shelter, clothes, and basic needs if fulfilled? So all problems solved. Problem solving is, humans are problem creating creatures, meaning we'll solve a problem and we'll create other problems. It's as simple as that. There is nothing magical about it. There is nothing. It is what it is. Like, more people will be born in this world. Okay, there will be a lot of problem. Less people will be born in this problem. There will be problem. It's as simple as that. Life fundamentally is suffering. Just you do not want unnecessary suffering. So all we do, try to reduce it. And that process, trying to reduce this, is never absolute. You can never achieve it. You can move towards it. It's almost like, how can you be absolutely, what you call, pious? No, there is a word for it. It's like you have to be absolute paragon of virtue. Let's just call it that. Does not mean you can actually achieve it. It's a aspirational goal. That's where you're moving towards. So problem is like that. Your aim is to reduce problem. You will never ever reach a point where you are eliminating problem. Only communism claims that, and you have seen the bloodbath out of it. So fundamentally, anything that claims to remove problem, not like reducing, good. Eliminating all the problem, no. So it's one of those things. Any technology that claims, like, any technology, any ideology, any religion, anything that claims no problem, run. Low problem, good. Reducing problem, awesome. No problem, run. So it's one of those things where you, as you get older, you will start to understand it, that we kind of create, like, it's a brighter the light, darker the shadow. It's that kind of deal. The quote was awesome. Yeah, it's like I've seen very few times used, but it was like very ooh kind of quote. It's like, oh, so yes, the quote was awesome. So what this divorce rate of India right now? It's very 20 to 30%. Go to district court. Depending on your cities, like major cities are at 50%, and smaller places like villages and all that are 10 to 20%. Basically, go to your family court near you. Okay, and rule number one, if you want to assess what is the probability of your divorce, figure out where your like, wife, going to be wife, is gonna come from, which state, which district. Go to that district and see how many cases are there, because again, the case will always be fought at her home ground, so you're gonna lose anyway. So for that reason, you, if let's say you are from Delhi and she's from Mumbai, you have to go to Mumbai and then assess their situation, and then you will understand why you should not get married in today's world. Again, in today's world, it's just like, no, just let it go. Do not commit that sin and then cry about it in online, where it's like, oh, they took all my properties. Like, yeah, that's why the marriage was there. They laid a trap for you and you jumped into it. So, can genetic engineering save humanity from AI? See, AI is not a threat unless we make it to. Like for example, the AI that I have right now, it only needs to improve 2x or 3x, and as long as it can do what we call feedback loop tightening, it's right now feedback loop is very sloppy. I'll discuss more about that. But unless somebody put malicious intent, is just a tool, super duper hyper advanced tool. Again, somebody uses it without any wisdom, yes, that will cause devastation, but genetic engineer will not save you. Because yes, that if you directly compete against AI, you're gonna lose. Why are you gonna lose? Yes, deal, you are a human. That's why you're gonna lose. Like for example, let's say this voice chat that we just used, let's just talk about it. Let's take a try it. I'm waiting. It's taking some time. I don't know why the network. Okay, Chat GPT Omni, do you think you can replace, as of now, any customer service, basically people? People do not like that job. So can you actually help them to not do this job, ugly job?
AI like ChatGPT Omni has the potential to significantly assist in customer service roles. It can handle many of the repetitive and straightforward tasks, such as answering common questions, providing information, and resolving basic issues. This can help reduce the workload for human customer service agents, allowing them to focus on more complex and nuanced problems that require a human touch. AI in customer service can improve response times, provide 24/7 support, and offer consistent answers, which can enhance the overall customer experience. However, while AI can take over many tasks, there are still limitations. AI may struggle with understanding context in complex scenarios, showing empathy, or handling unique situations that require creative problem solving or emotional intelligence. By integrating AI
Okay,
into
stop.
customer service, companies can alleviate some of the
Tap to
burden from.
interrupt. I have to tap to interrupt. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, there is a voice. That's just interesting. Hmm. So yeah. Why poor people are always in rush? Because they're poor. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like once you are poor, you always think like you can do extra. No, you have to sit down and think, and you cannot afford to sit down and think. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Genetic engineering won't help us against AI because again, you are a human. Like even advanced intelligence person cannot work in his sleep. And again, AI can work 24 into 7 into 365. That's the most dangerous part of it. Like right now, as I showed about the basically customer agents, like instead of like okay, call back during this time, it's like AI is like I got you, fam. I got you, fam. And all AI has to be is good enough. As I already said, the Chat GPT 4.0 is so efficient that I could see, foreseeable, right? Not right now, but I could see that you can have a server rack where one person's agent, basically one person that you hire, his workload can be taken off just one U rack. Right now I can see that, like almost in the horizon, where I can see you can buy a processor, four graphics card, and be like, I got this, we good. Right now I can see that. So that's the whole dangerous part of it. That 24 into 7 is the same thing as like compound interest. How many hours you can work? You say like I'll work 18 hours. But here's the deal. No, there's no point of you working 18 hours because here's the deal. You are working 18 hours and then sleeping. What's the point of you? Like, are you any different than the people who are in the chains? No. That's the whole thing. You do not want to live in a world, I'm working 20 hours a day. It's like, that's not life. That's like Japanese suicide with extra steps. So that's the whole point. You do not want to reach that point. And you cannot compete against AI. It's a slow and steady, and it's gonna be like boom. What you learned in your life in last 30 years? That's a long discussion. India is poor cause less job cause we import everything. We import everything cause power holders think it's cheap. What we should do to change power holders? Correct me. See, it's about philosophy. Like what India is mainly scared of, it's not the math, or like we are good at math, not science, we are really good at it. What we are scared of is white paper, meaning if you give us a white blank paper where it's like nothing, build something from scratch, we suck at it. For example, so I built this Mark 1 garbage. Again, it took me a lot of effort, but I had to do this. Now once I built this Mark 1, I was like, okay, this is garbage, I can create a new one. Okay, so then I created this Mark 2. This is much better than that one. Again, plastic, proper body with fan guards, everything is here, and I have a handle. Everything is exponentially better than that one. Here's the now I can think about, oh, Mark 3. This is where India falls apart. Like compare this to Israel. So let's say Israel goes into a war, which happened. Let's call it Arab Spring War. It was a bad war for them, and no other country wanted to support them. Where they're like, okay, we're gonna give you tanks to fight it. Like they were not getting it. So in that harsh reality, they were like, okay, we have to build our own. Now, when they built it, Markova tank, it was garbage. Again, Mark 1 is always garbage. They built it, but they had balls to push through. They're like, okay, we're gonna make Mark 1. It's not awesome, no problem. Let's push through. They built it. They figured out the supply chain. They figured out the pipeline. They need everything that they needed to do. They did it in order to make it. And then they're like, okay, now let's work it. Now they're like, and now America is like, dude, how the heck you have a modern battle tank that is under budget and ahead of schedule? How, what kind of black magic is that? That happened. And why didn't India has like, similar, we have people, we have resources, we have time. Why the heck in last 75 years we could not be this kind of awesome thing? Because we are always scared of that white paper failing us. Like we are basically scared of this. So you can have an Indian company like Ola that can just go to a company in, if I'm not mistaken, Ireland, no, uh, Iceland, somewhere in Europe. They will go and buy a company and bring their products here. They will never dare to like, okay, let's just go to balls to the wall and just try to build our garbage product. Because we are scared of the garbage, we never get the gold. So it's one of those things where it's like you have to go. Like India built a fighter jet, which was genuinely good, like genuinely world category. It was not the latest and greatest to directly go with the US system, but we built it just after independence. We were good. If our leaders had the balls at that time, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be garbage. Let's not use let's say General Electric jet engines on that, so we can achieve Mark 2. As long as it's Indian made, it's good. As long as even its engine is made, like, sorry, the engines are only Mark 1 capable, no problem. Let's build it. Let's build the foundation on which we can stand tomorrow. We always fail in that. That's why we are very good at business. It's like, oh, this is a business opportunity. Give us 10 rupee, we can give you 1 crore in return. We good. We got this. No problem, no discussion about it. But the moment you're like, okay, here's a blank paper, go YOLO, we shit ourselves. That's why India does not have that kind of wealth it should have, the kind of resource it should have. Like, why the heck we are always like Israel built it. Freaking South Korea built fighter jets better than us. How the heck that's possible? Oh, they had the balls to fail. So that's the whole thing. What you learn? Okay. Uh, cab artificial womb solve population decline. We probably babies like no, that will not, because here's the baby is the easy part. Paying for the baby is the expensive part. Nobody can afford to pay anymore. So that's the whole point. That will not solve any situation. To win, we need to control the software. Again, you will not control it. The people who controls the Azure or Amazon Web Services or the supercomputers or super clusters, they will control it. You and I do not even come into the equation. That's the reality of it. I want my AI to be like Rafael from. I do not know which thing you are referring to. I have no idea about that. Sorry about that. First, they should build an AI system to replace politicians instead of replacing entire human workforce. Yeah, good dream. Sir, I'm from Kolkata, and here divorce rate is high in my neighborhood. One girl in my neighborhood married 3 men, and yeah, all of them were friends. Yeah, those men needed to be poofed out of Jane pool. If you are that dumb, it's like at some point it's like you need to be like, nature is like, bro, we need to like just poof you out of existence. So that's all right. What are the thoughts of interactive AI NPC in a video game can talk to you? NVIDIA is, see, doing that is not hard. It's just doing that cost effectively is the hard part. Right now, we do not have the luxury where you can shrink, language models so small that it can run locally. Running in a supercomputer is, Google Stadia could have done that if they had lasted this long, but they did it. So I do not see that happening anytime soon. Again, that could happen, and I do see eventually we reaching there, but I do not expect it to be anytime soon. And again, you do not want that. If you have too much agency with your NPCs, the game can evolve, the storylines could devolve to a point where it no longer works. So you may not want as much freedom AI as you think, unless it's a game built around AI, unless that. So what are your thoughts? Okay, people are celebrating more divorce rates as women for freedom. Yeah, that's why you let women go. Women, like, imagine it this way, like our grandfathers who worked their ass off in the sunlight with extreme ultraviolet without air conditioning because it was not even invented yet. There was no diesel tractors because it was not even invented yet. And what's their reward today? They are called oppressors. So you let women go. You're just like, you do everything you can do. Me out. You do not fight. You're just like, me out, sir. You, you just let it go. That's why. Indian farmers have very small land and their farming do everything, purchase seeds, do farming, so which I think kind of bad. I do not know which direction you are going to, so there is no construction. Can we make video on technology capabilities of India versus China versus USA? Yeah, that's not going to be a good thing. Mairut was beautiful. Yeah, that was a very good jet engine, jet aircraft. Like we were really good. What we built was good. If we just had the balls to be like, okay, this supposed to be garbage. It's supposed garbage as in like for some reason Indian Air Force like we want Mark 2. It's like what the hell? You are just a country that got independence. You want Mark 2. Bro, that's not how it works. But it's like we want Mark 2. It's like no, that's not how it works. It's like you go through all the steps from Wright brothers to Mark 2. You do not directly jump into like okay, now we do Mark 2. It's like yeah, and that's why Tejas, the Indian aircraft, was like so much delayed, and it's like by the time it actually comes into battlefield, again better than 150 country, I would say, better than 150 country, but surprisingly bad for what it could have been. Why it's not there? Again, we did not build the pipeline, we did not build the supply chain, we did not build the educational, what you call educational schematics where it's like okay we're gonna have students who's gonna focus on the jet engine development, they're gonna get a job in India building jet engines, and then we're gonna work on it, then we're gonna have this, and it's like whole supply chain. And again, jet engine is the easy part, maintaining that damn jet engine is the hard part. Again, if you have a crappy jet engine you can maintain, and again crappy engines will give you more maintenance experience, so you can figure out is like how the heck we're gonna maintain. Then that knowledge feedbacks into your colleges and universities like okay now let's make a meter mark 2. So that's how you improve it. We are so scared of that that it's like we do not even start. Anurag Sharma, hi, hello to you. AI affect economics on governance? Absolutely, it will have drastic effect. Drastic effect. Drastic effect. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Piyush, hello to you. AI effects on economic. I guess the economics wise, it's like the worst case scenario is that for short duration, let that be very clear, it's gonna be barely 10 to 15 years. But in 10 to 15 years, not from now, I have expected, let's say 2030. Again, I'm being optimistic here. Let's assume from 2030 the AI agents actually become good, like actually good. And again, ChatGPT right now is good. Actually good is not that far away. Actually efficient, not that far away. So let's say by 2030 is actually, what does that mean? That simply means people on the top will start to do trimming. Meaning, first you will notice, let's say a company, a big massive company like India's TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, is a huge company. And every year they have slowly expanded themselves, where they went from 10,000 people to 20,000 people to 100,000 people. Like they slowly expanded. And you can trace out in the curve, like, there is some up down, of course, recession and all that. But like, overall, it's like slowly going up. Awesome, cool, GG. But then you will start to notice, hey, the growth rate has shrunk, like in terms of people, not in terms of money. Money, they will go YOLO. But in terms of people, they're like, okay, you're not increasing your capacity. Then you will notice a, plateau. The moment plateau happens, bad times are coming. So this plateau will happen, let's say 7 to 8 years from now, and then it'll like crush. I do not know how fast that will be, but that will be very quick. For few years, you could run literally economy based on momentum only, even though no new jobs are being created, no like amount of jobs. Let that be very clear. Amount of jobs. Of course, we're gonna have new jobs, but it's like yeah, 5,000 new jobs are created. We are laying off 50,000 people. It will be like that. The part people do not understand. Yes, there will be new job, but fundamentally, AI means you do not need to. Most of the things that can be done by human brain can be done with AI, and if AI is growing properly, it should be able to be done less energy, less error prone than a human brain. So that's over time it will take the 1% make them filthy rich, and the middle class will slowly disappear, and then bad things will happen after that. So yeah, the effect on the economy would be brutal. Elon Musk said robot trucks are revealed in August 2024. Can Tesla drive as just more hyper pump the stock? Again, didn't he claim this shit before? Like, robot taxi is an ancient claim. Like he was claiming that shit like a few years ago, man. Like, where are you? Or like, have people such a short attention span that forgot that this same claim was done? Like, he was saying like not buying what was it? Tesla Model 3 is a like economical like it's a stupid because again it will make money back, like $30,000 will be made in first year of owning that car by robotaxi, as if like having a taxi does not mean you have extra wear and tear and grinding of your vehicle. It's like what the hell, he claimed that like it's, did he started to make that claim again, robotaxi thing? Again, when did Elon Musk made it? Elon Musk first claim real robo taxi. Yeah, that was in 2019. People forgot already. We expect to have first operational robo taxi next year. That was in 2019. Like, bro, that's like what, 5 years from now? Past now, as in. So it's a really, really sad. If people are falling for the same thing again, I'm like, you deserve. Like, you see the people who are buying a Cybertruck and they are chopping their fingers off. And I know they're not poofing it off, it's just cracking it, damaging the bone. And I'm like, yeah, you deserve to be poofed. Like it's the same thing. Like the men who are getting married thinking this is a good thing. I'm like, and then they're realizing what's the reality of it, and they're like, yeah, you're supposed to be poofed. Like you did not go to, it's like, people who have more money than sense will soon lose that money. Is the same thing. Yeah. What do you do after 12 with no interest in math, and what to do after 12 with no interest in math but want to do tech? Then do B-tech. See, do not ask me for career advice like that. I'm not a rich person, so I cannot tell you how to do it, right? It's up to you. I'm not, our education system is killing our youth figuratively and literally. Yeah, that is factually true. Again, that's one point. We are so scared of failing. It's like it's better for Indian parents to watch their children poof themselves than to be like, oh, you failed an exam, you brought shame to our family. But again, that's a very Asian thing to do. Japanese also do that. Vietnamese also do that. It's like, yeah, and all of these places, what we do, go to West for job. It's almost symmetrical irony that we have here. Symmetrical irony. Uh, should robots and AI system be taxed based on their productive output as they start replacing workforce? Again, what difference would it make? People need jobs not only for money but for also like structure to life. Structure to life. If somebody just like, hey, sit there and take money, they will be destroyed. There are like a lot of places where government pays what you call an unemployment benefit. Those people, if they get stuck in that loop, it never ends well for them. You never want to be in a scenario where it's just like, hey, I'm just sitting, I'm just chilling, and I have like UPI, a universal basic income coming in, and I do not have to worry about it. Yeah, that's not a good scenario. We need work. Let that be very clear. We need work in order to give us a like a, oh sorry, give a, yeah, give us a bit of a context, give us a bit of a tracks where we are grinding ourselves to. So yeah, it does not, it should not become the whole life, but it should be like at least something is there, like something you are working towards, something you are moving towards. And this idea like, oh, everybody's gonna be creative, at least thankfully now I have seen that topic to disappear. Nobody talks about creative jobs anymore. It's like, yeah, that's the first jobs that were replaced. So yeah. Is divorce law same for the Muslims? No. It's Hindu Marriage Act. So, I mean, come on, it's in the name. Robots are not gonna earn and spend. Again, does not matter. Their masters will. They're gonna be like, hey, my fifth yacht needs to be bigger. It's like, I'm not even joking right now. As of now, there are yachts that are seized by Western governments in during the initial barrage of that sanction that they put, which were more expensive than Moscow. And be mindful, Moscow bill is high, which most likely does not actually spend that kind of money, because that's why majority of thing was like non-functional. Like there are oligarchs whose yachts were more expensive than a nation's flagship battleship. How the heck that's even possible? And I'm not joking. Apparently, there are yachts that are measured in $1 billion. I hope it's wrong. I hope there is no yacht that is actually that cost, because be mindful, 13 billion gives you an aircraft carrier. I genuinely hope that that kind of wealth disparity does not exist. But ooh, but this law was made by men. Again, I do not know what was the reason for that. If it was a very what you call a well orchestrated plan, it's like, here's a poison, eat it, and you're gonna die, but you're gonna enjoy it, and we did it. So again, I tip my hat to them. It's like, you did such an amazing job of poofing us. It's almost like, how Japan survived two nukes, but it could not survive a family unit destruction. Yeah, this is the same thing. It's like, I tip my hat to you. Like, we had 200 years of operation from Mughals, we survived it. We had 200 years of operation from East India Company, we survived it. And then this person is like, okay, these bitches, they do not know how to kill you. Here's poison. Boom, 90 years. Duh. I'm like, dang. Like, out of respect, it's like, whoa, you created a weapon that is so awesome that it can come from the front and we will never accept it. I was like, I tip my hat to you, sir. Like, that kind of lethality is like, damn. That's like, damn. Can communism come back if AI takes all the jobs? Middle class falls? Yeah, of course. That's how it happens. When you have a broken economy, broken system, that's when communism grows, and that's when the Stalin happens. It's a cyclical thing. So Google AI search shows Reddit results is not all clear context. It showed eating stones every day. Exercise. Yeah, Google AI is really not that good. ChatGPT is exponentially better. Gemini is just not good enough. Like recently, if you have watched. Few months ago, if at this point in time, they were talking, Google were talking, they do not have moat simply meaning a castle that is surrounded by water and others cannot just directly attack on it. So ChatGPT is a proper model. They have been developing behind the scene for years, and now they are actually showcasing it. And again, by some talks, apparently ChatGPT 4 Omni was 1 year done 1 year ago. They were testing it. They were like, putting constraint on it, like, making it behave properly. So Google is rushing. So flat out, it shows that flat out all their capabilities are just like that. So I do expect that sort of output. They do not have a moat, and it's been quite clear. It's like for quite some time where it's like they do not have any what you call a real world capability right now. And let me be very clear, this one topic you guys gonna hear a lot is about this so-called generator, artificial generator. There is no such thing, get over it. There is no such thing as artificial generator, because again, the definition is sloppy by design. Like, it has no definition. Sentience is hard enough to define. You think intelligence is easier? Because yes, right now, ChatGPT, even ChatGPT 3.5, the reason we were having this boom is simply because ChatGPT 3.5 was actual AI. It was actually smart. But there's like general AI. What does that mean? Like, are there people right now? I do not know about electronics. I do not know about coding, but I can build a product, right? And again, I'm building and working on it and building it. ChatGPT can design this. ChatGPT gives me the code to actually run this. And now people are like, no, no, it has to have a body. It's like, dude, you are losing, so you are creating your own what you call metric. Evolutionists also did the same thing. It was like, okay, humans are the biggest brain. The ones that actually started to analyze different large size animals. It's like, okay, they have bigger brain. Okay, no, no, it's a brain to body ratio. And then it's like, okay, there are other birds that have better body to brain ratio. It's like, mass ratio and all that. Again, it's same thing. It's AGI will keep pushing it. Right now, ChatGPT 4 can easily do the job of at least 30 to 40% of humanity. All of it. Easily. So that's a very serious thing. Question is it sentient or not? Most likely it's not, and it does not need to be. It's like giving Einstein level intelligence to a golden retriever. It's like, it's just cruel. It does not need to be there. So I do not we have there. Now, what does AI lack as of now? As of now, again, removing the energy efficiency part, the latency part, remove all of that. Right now, it does not have good feedback loop. For example, while I was working with this ESP32S3, I'm gonna use this for the fan controller circuit. It has a RGB LED, ARGB LED, addressable RGB. Basically, one pin goes in and you can talk to it. So that ARGB LED, it's on a different pin compared to espressive board. So I told him, like, give me a code to glow this RGB. It did. It did. Problem was, it got the pins wrong. Then I was like, okay, pin is different. This is a different board from different manufacturer. I showed. Then and I've also shared the schematics. So it did not accept it. It's like, okay, it gave me a new thing. But when I asked again after like some other discussion, it's like, hey, give me a same code, but make the LEDs glow slowly. It was like, again, it went back to pin number 19, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, it kept going back to the espresso. It does not know. It's like the other thing. Even though I have shared PDF schematics of it, it can check it, it can verify it, but it cannot be sure whether what it's learning is right or not. However, I do see that problem to be solved quite soon. But the moment that happens, then we are in serious issue. Because at that point, every interaction actually leads to exponential efficiency of work. It's like, oh, you want this? These are the two possible options that you have. Like, and 99% chance you will solve it. That would be scary. Okay. Can communism come back? Okay. Google AI is like, okay, sir, why Russian scientists are very good? Depending on what? Based on what you are saying that. Based on what you are saying, because I have heard about good things about German scientists, because again, Einstein and all the weapons of war that they built. So I have heard good things about American systems. But although American system is more about industrial might, it's like, you give them the designs and they're like, we got this, fam, we got this. British engineers, again, radio to basically other stuff. A lot of, I have never seen good things about Russian. Like, there was some good designs, but again, the communism hierarchy and stupidity destroyed their own chance of success. Like, they had good rocket engineers. There was no discussion about it. Like, flat out, they were good rocket engineers, but they squandered that opportunity. So I do not know why I'm saying that. And again, countries have, with large population have good and bad. Again, India also has some amazing scientists. Heck, we have Nobel prizes for crying out loud. So it's not an issue. There is a Chandra observatory named after an Indian astronomer. So like, get over it. It's like we good. We good. The problem with Indian education system with suppresses students' curiosity and focus a lot more on rote learning. Yeah, that is true, but that's true with all Asia. That's why Asia is so miserable countries, no? Like Japan dead, South Korea dead, North Korea dead, India dying. So that's why. It's like we are like a inverse paradox of ourselves. Where it's like we have such a good education, then why the heck the only thing we are good at is like going to other country and getting job? So it's a inverse parody of ourselves. It's one of those things. It's like, but again, I have decided to let these things go, so I no longer have to worry about wife or child. It's like, yeah. And again, inflation is becoming crazy to a point where I'm noticing it. I was not this height, and I was like, yeah, the paneer, like I like paneer. It's a cottage cheese. I like that, and it's like 21 rupees. Right now, the price I just recently did it's more than 100. Like, pay attention to the number. It went from 21 to 100 plus. I'm not even one generation old. Like bit one generation old simply means 30 years. And as in generation wise, yeah, I did it after 10 years old. So oof, that's a big thing. How big India's population would be in 50 years? Again, the population, you can calculate it. I do not want to do that because again, India does have a very large other religion population also. So again, trajectory is directly being calculated for Hindu population. So I cannot precisely calculate that because again, you could literally have Hindu disappearing and others replacing its place, like how Japan is going through, or South Korea, or Italy, or France, or all of Europe, or all of America. And again, the sole reason America does not scream about is like, hey, we are dying, is just that they have the luxury of being the place where everybody wants to go. So they have the luxury of filtering people out. And they're like, okay, best of the best student, best of the best. Again, they try to. And again, so because of the influx they have from all countries, be it China, be it India, be it Japan, be it Mexico, all the influx, their inherent population collapse is not visible to us. So it's one of those things. I can't get the movie name. Please say it slowly. Which movie you're talking about? How do we implement a universal basic income if automation leads to mass joblessness? We do not know. See, that's the issue. We have no clue, no idea about nothing, and we are just like we are driving a car and we cannot see the road. We do not have a headlight. It's black night. There is no moon. We have nothing. We're just like going full in. We do not know where it's going to lead. And as time progresses, as the speed is starting to scare me because ChatGPT in early days, I asked it about a graph, it could not make it. ChatGPT 4 Omni actually made a graph. I was talking about refrigerants. It's almost useful. Like I could see it's reaching a point where it's like, yeah, it can make a graph and like a breaking graph. It's a big deal. There are people's job whose sole job it is to make graphs, and it's just happening. It's like, whoa. How we can gas population? It's like, yeah. Private tuition are catalyst to India's death. I can say that. But Indian organizations have very bad PR due to which many young youth minds are migrated to America and big problem years. And I think it can be solved easily. If it could be solved easily, people would have solved it. It could not be solved easily. You cannot go and bitch slap ISRO and be like, hey, do not waste India's resource, time, money, and effort on making an engine that literally was designed in Soviet Union. It's outdated before it's even built. No, we are rebuilding it. It's like why you are building. It's like rebuilding a steam engine is still a steam engine. You are not building a jet engine. That's what we are doing. That's ISRO's. That's like we are literally doing the same thing that ESA is struggling. But only good thing is ESA at least had the balls to say, yeah, we effed up with our what is that name? Artemis? No, no, sorry. What the hell is the rocket name? Aegis? Oh, what the hell is the rocket name? Uh, JWS. How the heck I forgot it? It just slipped out. Ares, yeah, Ares, Ariane 6, Ariane 6. Like flat out, European Space Commission flat out telling Ariane 6, it's not a good rocket, it's not cost effective. And again, the Ariane groups is flat out blackmailing them. It's like, hey, increase our subsidy or we're gonna cancel the project. But they are flat out saying it's like a tough pill that we have to swallow right now. And India's like, what if we take ancient technology and remake that ancient technology with ancient garbage? It's like, yeah, it's gonna be garbage system. It's like, yeah, we've made a super amazing modern titanium based steam engine. It's still steam engine. You're still gonna be bitch slapped by anybody who built aluminum jet engine. Yes, you can do that aluminum jet engine. It's not very efficient, but it can be done because temperature has to be a bit low. It can be done. So it's the same thing. It's like it cannot be solved. PR issue cannot be solved. Like ISRO spent 2 crores. It's a huge amount of money for PR of submissions, and I'm like, where did that money go? You do not even have good photos of it. Like heck, at that kind of money you should be able to like just have a group of photographer, not even group, like few photographer will do, like let's say three, and be like, okay, buy a tilt shift lens camera, have a camera that is like, modified by ISRO, and it's just like a black and white camera where you can have color filters. So that way you have a black and white that gives you the full dynamic range, then you have a red filter, the blue filter, so pure color tilt shift, so all rocket photos are like absolutely straight, looks amazing, and you're like, you can do even like stitching a panorama with tilt shift lens, you can stitch without any issue, and it looks amazing. And it's like, no, we have nothing. We don't even have good high resolution photos of our own missions. And Indian national TVs are, when they are showing about like Aditya mission, where a solar probe mission, they are using photos of some freaking Western things. And I cannot blame them. It's like there is no photo. There is not even one good photo of Aditya observatory. One good photo. So it's one of those things. Uh, Indian organizations, like obviously. Is growing major things at home beat inflation? Some extent, because again, as long as you cannot grow fuel, it does not matter. Again, we can grow fuel, we can grow seaweed biofuel, we have enough sea coast, we can do it, but we're like, what if we waste countries' money on hydrogen hulululu? Yeah, we're gonna starve to that. Yeah, so we can do that. And why fuel matters? Because yes, a farmer requires fuel in order to grow food. So even if you're doing everything, but you do not control fuel prices, you cannot control the inflation. So yeah. Movie about AI in Hindi live. Which movie? Ex Machina. You're talking about maybe Ex Machina. That was a movie. Prepare for government exams now. Prepared for government exams now. Good luck. Good luck. I wish you all the success. Aryan. Oh yeah, now people are saying Aryan. Who changed the audio to English? Yeah, no, this is my English channel. If you came from Hindi channel, yeah, the language would be different. I do apologize about it, but again, it's a English channel. That's why all the chat is open. But I only have few people like interacting here. But it's a I'm trying my best to grow this channel. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like only recently this good thing happened. Like after so long, I finally felt a little bit of a dopamine hit. I'm like, that was like I needed it. Let that be very clear. I needed it badly. Whereas like something go good, something go is like, oh, it's actually working. Okay, I'm working towards it. It's working well. So it's like, yeah. I mean, so ISRO can update the observatory of ISRO satellite like Aditya and one or other specific website right now. It's just upload photo on Twitter. And it's like, and that's rare. That's the whole thing. We do not have the what you call. We are scared of basically we are directly competing with F-22. It's like, dude, compare with a F4 Phantom. Okay, compare with that. Like, we are directly always trying to jump. It's like, oh, we have 5G. It's like, dude, that's not how it works. You did not develop the silicon for it. So it's always one of the. Can we replace fuel with sol for farmers also? I do not know what you're. Can we replace fuel with with what? SOL, like the heart symbol is on top of it. Yeah, that's a very bad design from YouTube's point of view. It's it's blocked. And I cannot see solar. Replace fuel with solar. Yeah, no, no. You can try it, but no. Like you do need fuel for transportation. You do need fuel for tractors. Like trying with batteries, it's not impossible. It's just like unnecessarily expensive. Unnecessarily. It's like biofuel is cheaper. Oh, and before anybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry starts to say it's like, oh, biofuel is expensive. It's not expensive. The document that people cite when they are saying, oh, LG seaweed biofuel will be twice as expensive was made in 1996. That time, fuel barrel prices were $15 per barrel. Even if it's double, that 30. Look up today's price, as in year 2024's price. I dare you. Even if the price was 3 times more, 4 times more, it still would be cheaper. That's the difference. We just like rushed so much. And again, I think it was a very clever move from OPEC, because again, that's USA was very serious from oil embargo, and they were actually reaching a point where they're like people were noticing it's like, hey, we could see something. And I think OPEC saw that. It's like, whoa, if America actually started to use brain instead of stupidity, they might actually solve the problem forever. Now, like OPEC will lose all the power if they did it. Again, America also has the benefit of having huge surface area in terms of coastal region. So they can do it very easily. And again, because their population is small, again, Indian can say that and Chinese can say that. Their population is small, they do not even need that much. They're like, bro, we good. We got this. And that time OPEC would be like, oh. So they're like, what if we drop the price? And again, because Americans are run by stupidity, stupid politicians, they're like, it's too expensive. It's like, bro, solar was $100 per watt. It's like somebody was lucky. Actually, we were lucky because it was the only way to properly charge stuff in space. That's why the technology kept working. So we lucked out with solar, because again, if people were like ditching solar as quickly as we ditched seaweed biofuel, it's like the irony is like we had a better fuel. Using biofuel from seaweed is automatically part of the cycle, so it's not what you call bad. It's basically carbon neutral. It's not carbon positive. It's carbon neutral. It's not adding or subtracting. So, as of now, given the current constraints of humanity, given the current reality of global warming, that's the only tool we have that can actually work. Not hydrogen hululul, because the only people who say about hydrogen are politicians and engineers who are forced to work on it, or young, dumb engineers who have not studied history well enough. Where they're like, oh, we built a giant passenger jet running on liquid hydrogen. It could not go far. Oh, we built a fighter jet running on liquid hydrogen. It could not go far. Oh, we built everything running on liquid hydrogen. It did not go far. Like we did this. Like we got this, bro. Science is clear. 32 megajoule per liter versus 8 megajoule per liter. Even if you are extracting 100% out of 8 megajoule, you only have to extract few percent out of system. And again, compressed hydrogen. Compressed hydrogen does not beat liquid hydrogen. Duh. That's the whole thing. Again, I know, I can guarantee you the Boeing engineers who are forced because EU is passing a law by 2050, we must ban all hydrocarbon because hulululu and jingalala. I'm guarantee you those engine, I will give you 10 pain points and they're like, bro, this is a book thesis I wrote in college. It does not work. To be fair, I have seen at least few pilots come forward and they're like, dude, the galvanometric energy density of hydrogen is just not good enough. Even methane will not do it. So at least some people know, but they are not loud enough, they are not powerful enough, so we're gonna die. So let's just waste it. We don't need extra tech because engines are really good with all of the supply line. Yeah, that's true. I don't think ISRO wants to compare themselves to latest rocket if they at least had upgraded their camera. So basically, we are not getting cohort problem. It's like, see, they don't want to solve it. That's why it's not solved. As simple as that. Like, here's the deal. If something is like broken, for example, they were doing a testing of that pod, right? Gaganyaan, the capsule, the Gaganyaan capsule they were testing. Here's the deal. They could have easily put GoPro. I could guarantee you, all the people who were working, their kids would have GoPro. Not all of them, not a lot of them, but at least one or two GoPros should have been there. That GoPro should have been better than the camera they have used. But again, you can pay attention. SpaceX does the same thing. They have GoPro on the return shield. They just put a cover around it. It works. If it does not work, it's not that expensive. So it's one of those things like we do not want it. It's like we do not want it. And again, you have to wait for all of them to die, and then by that time they will be so behind schedule. It's like it would schedule as in like the current trends. It would be like, yeah, we are trying to take a Stone Age civilization into like space age civilization. So in Pune, started to use plastic to make fuel. Is it in the option? Yeah, it's called pyrolysis. It's a very old technology. It's a very good way of taking care of plastic waste. It's a very good thing. Like you take plastic, turn it into basically pyrolysis, basically cooking it without oxygen, breaks down the long hydrocarbon chain into smaller chain. It becomes from solid to liquid. Super awesome thing. Does work very good, and it removes microplastic, but does not do anything to basically amount of plastic that we have. It's very little because we mindful plastic is a product of crude oil. So we take crude oil, we take a lot of stuff out like diesel, jet, marine fuel, jet fuel, and all that. We take all of that out. A little bit of remainder is like asphalt and all that stuff. Some amount is for plastics. So if you convert, let's say after use, 100% of the plastic back into the fuel, useful liquid fuel, you will not have enough fuel to run a nation. But it's a very good thing to do because again, microplastic is worse than CO2 in the air. So in contrast, in balance, like I said, on balance, I would rather have CO2 in the atmosphere than having microplastic in the soil and the food. So that's why it's a very good thing to do. I'm genuinely shocked why the heck people are not doing it as like it should be a national level effort where it's like, no, this is what we're gonna do. This is done. Like we are doing this. Yeah, it's not cost of it, does not matter. We are solving microplastic and we are getting something that at good case scenario can add positive value. Basically, your operation cost, let's say, is $1 million a year. You can get a little bit more out of that by selling the fuel. That would be awesome. Even if not, It could be like, okay, we spent $1 million and we only got like $250,000 out of it. Here's deal. At least it reduced your price of solving plastic by 250,000. So it's a good system. We have to go for it. And again, I'm reasonably sure the core technology is super simple. It's just a pressure cooker with oxygen seal. You do not let oxygen in. Basically, you airtight it. And again, it's not like you have to vacuum pull it. It's just like you put it there. If there is too much air there, yeah, it will take time. So you generally pack it up as much as possible, and then you just slowly boil it until it starts to decay. And temperature is also not that high, like 300 to 400 degrees Celsius of pyrolysis. So it's generally one of those things. From off topic, MCU has become fully feminist. New releases show Spider-Man variant as evil, and it is for Spider-Man. See, I'm done with MCU. I had a good run with it. I was very young when Iron Man 1 came out. It was awesome. It changed my life. And then I had like in the same road where I watched Iron Man 1, same road, theater next to it, I watched Endgame, and that was my Endgame. It's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I had my ride, I went to the crescendo, and then I just backed off. If you are still watching it, that's up to you. It's like I had my whole fill, like, I had that 10 years of it. It's like my job is done. Like, I had my fun and I let it go. Like, I genuinely let it go. I like watched Loki, watched this or that, and then I slowly realized that I'm stupid if I'm keep watching it. It's like I'm just like, okay, it was good, it was awesome. Let's just let it, because here's it's one of those sayings. It's like, a king is born, a king has its reign, and then it gets old and dies. It's like you have to let things die. It's like, okay, I had like Star Wars. If you have just left the Star Wars to that trilogy, it would have been awesome. But like if you just keep re-releasing it, expanding it, it rots. It becomes a zombie. You do not want that. So for that reason, it's always required to like just have your fun, have awesome, but at some point like keep it down. Like it's like watching porn 24 into 7 into 365. Not good for you. You have to at some point. It's like, yeah, I had my release. Now let me release it. So it's one of those things. Okay. Oh, damn. I've been going on for more than 1 hour, and damn, 15 concurrent view. That's shocking for this channel. So I'm very happy. Thank you for amazing questions. And let me just check. Did anybody give any no donations? Okay. Okay. So at least cost effective because the fuel cells price. It's cost effective because fuel cells prices are 60. Which fuel cell is that cheap? And again, if you do not have energy, what's the point of getting low amount of energy? It's like, yeah, this is low cost. It just does not have the power you need. What the? Did you just made random stuff up? Electrical engineer? Did you just made random stuff up to annoy me? Anyway, Harshit Prasad, the property always mother should give an anomaly. Dude, if you are getting married, do not cry at the family court. It's like, okay, you committed the sin of marriage. Any things that happen to you, your kidney being sold, your property being sold, you are getting raped in the family court, it's all of your own doing. You married, you suffer the consequences. And I told you, go to the family court near you. Do not listen to people who say get married. Go to family court near you, see what's what. If you didn't, do not bitch and moan about after you getting. So okay, this was an amazing live stream, surprisingly a lot of views, and like for this channel it was amazing. So I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye.